As a travel agency or a business owner, you are constantly looking for ways to improve the leads and increase the leads that flow into your marketing funnel. But what about your existing data? You see, over the period of years, your business must have collected a lot of data. What is your engagement strategy for the existing data that you have? Please remember, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers. If you have been in business for a few years, then you have collected vast amounts of data. What is your strategy to engage with them? Now, this data could be data that inquired with you, stayed at the lead stage, data that became a prospect but did not go all the way with you, and your existing client data. The first step involved in making our existing data work for us, work to grow our business, is to have an engagement plan for this data. A vast majority of businesses have their data stored in Excel sheets, or it's sitting somewhere in the account books, but it is not being put to use. In this video, I want to walk you through how to take this data, set up a re-engagement plan, and bring this data back to life, or at least parts of it back to life. To do this, the first step that is needed is to validate the data, to make sure that this data is still accurate. And we're going to do this by using a tool called Sendinblue. It is a basic CRM plus email marketing automation tool, plus a tool that allows you to sync your audiences with Facebook for your social media paid marketing. Although the Facebook audience sync is a part of the paid marketing plan, and it also has a thing called SMS campaigns, which is again keeping in touch with your clients if you have their mobile numbers, which is also a part of the paid marketing plan. I would be focusing in this video on the CRM automation builder, which is a part of the free plan. So without spending a penny, you can activate 2,000 clients because the free plan has a limitation. You can import unlimited number of data into it, but only 2,000 people can enter the automation. So make sure that it is the 2,000 most relevant of your customers or your high ticket value customers that you want to re-engage. What I suggest you do is look at your high ticket value clients. If you're a travel company, I suggest you look at the clients who have traveled with you consistently pre-COVID, divide them into who are the high ticket value clients, and start your re-engagement campaign with them. It is a good idea to first try and bring them back to life. Remember, we have a limit of 2,000 people whom we can bring into the marketing automation. So let's get started.
Getting started, what are the steps that we need to follow to make sure that we have configured the system absolutely right? The step one is sign up. Now, if you do not already have an account with Sendinblue, I would be giving a link in the description, which is an affiliate link. I would truly appreciate if you could use that link to sign up. It does not cost you anything extra. You are anyway signing up for the free plan, but if you do sign up using my link, I do get credits for it. So let's get started with the sign up process. You will be arriving at the website Sendinblue, and I have already signed up, so I see my account dashboard, but you will see here the option to sign up. So go ahead, sign up. Once you've signed up, you will receive an email to verify your email address. Once you've verified your email, you will be entering into the account dashboard. The sign up process, as I've said, is pretty straightforward. So go ahead, sign up for it. So once you're done with the sign up, then we have the next steps to take care of, which is basically the housekeeping stuff, setting it up and getting it ready so that it works for us the way we want it to work. This is the dashboard that you enter in when you sign in. First step you need to do is don't change anything, go to the settings, and let's set up the default settings for us. Step one, configure default settings. I am in India, so my time zone is Kolkata. Your time zone could be different. Set it up accordingly. Go through each of these steps. Delay time is 0. Leave it at that. Time format, I prefer 24 hours. You may prefer the 12-hour time format. I prefer the date format as date, month, and year. You may prefer month, date, and year. So set it up accordingly the way you want it, and set up the tracking. Do you want to receive replies to your SMS campaigns by email? No, absolutely not. We may want to use the SMSs at a later date. That is a part of the paid marketing plan, but at this moment of time we don't. Do you want to disable Sendinblue activity notifications? By default it is at no. I have left it at that, but if you don't want want to get notifications from them, you can set it off. This is where you need to do most of the work. You need to set up your default from name, default from email address, and default header. What do you want to appear here? And the default footer. I've set it up as a travel company, but if you are a business, you could write, we had communicated in the past and you had inquired with us. If your preferences have changed and you don't want to hear from us, click here, which will unsubscribe them straight away from your mailing lists. So once you set it up, hit save and go back. Then you can set up a test list if you want. This is basically a list where any emailer that you create, if you want to see how it's going to look, is going to be sent to you. This helps you understand how it is being rendered on different clients that receive the emails. Then there is an option called unsubscribe pages. Now by default, a lot of people do not come here and they leave it the way it is. I like to personalize it with a brand name, so I would recommend setting up the unsubscribe pages here as well. I have taken the default unsubscribe page and edited it. I have just put in a logo. Don't want to hear from us. Click on unsubscribe to stop receiving emails from us on this email address. Just personalize it a little bit. You can add a whole lot more things if you want. Also, always check how it is looking on the mobile device, because do understand that over 95% of your traffic is coming on the mobile today. So set up the unsubscribe page default and then let's move back. We've done this. Let's go back to settings. Let's come back to campaigns, settings, and go to Google Analytics and social. Now I have already set up my accounts. You could go ahead and set up yours as well. And once you are done with this, save it, go back. Then there's a thing called your sender and domains. Now this is extremely important for you to set up. In my case, I'm a verified sender here. I could also just verify myself as a sender, or I could go ahead and verify myself as a domain. I've put up two domains here. Unfortunately, both these domains are already authenticated on my other account, so I cannot authenticate them again here. If you go ahead and you set up your domain here and you press authenticate this domain, you will get these records that you need to add to your cPanel. If you don't understand that, ask somebody who helped you buy the domain or somebody who configured your website. Wherever you bought the domain, that is where you would have a DNS management, and that is where you'll have to go and add these. What this does is it actually improves your domain reputation, and the emails don't end up in the junk folder most of the times. So authenticate that. Let's go back. Dedicated IP, we don't need that right now. Conversions, we don't really need this at this moment of time unless and until you're an e-commerce setup. So these are our initial defaults that we need to set up. So let's go ahead and press this plus icon here. This will bring us to a page which says apps and integrations. We will go here and we will activate the following: automation, transactional emails. If you want SMS campaigns, then SMS campaigns, Facebook ads, though it's a part of the paid plan, but you can activate it. Landing pages, again a part of the paid plan, but you can activate it. Inbox, this will help you connect your email account, and all the emails can also be then read in the Sendinblue account. This is important and this is great because anybody who has sent you an email and is not a part of your system, you can actually straight away add them to the CRM and to your contact list directly. Then of course chat, this is needed if you want to have a chat functionality on your website, and CRM. So activate these. Once you've activated these, you will see that they'll all start showing up here on the top panel. Now, if I go to the inbox, so I had set up mine a couple of days ago. So any email that I receive in my inbox is also showing up here. I could just go open them and then, add them directly to the CRM. When we come to the CRM is your customer relationship management. This is again an account I had created and I had just added to show what we can do with it. And I will walk you through this. In the CRM, you have CRM contacts, companies, tasks, settings, and deals. Now, deals is where you can start adding on the ticket value of whatever you are booking. This has been customized for a travel agency. So as you can see here, I have set up the fields accordingly. When you initially come to this one, the things would look very different. What you can do is you can come here and edit the stages, and you can then confirm these stages as you want them to be. By default, most CRMs give you a win probability. This tells you where you need to focus. In case of travel and hotels, whom I primarily consult with, I have never seen this being too useful for us. However, I just assign numbers to them. What is more useful for us is actually seeing which stage the quote or the client is at and how to then best take it forward from there. So once you have set up the stages here, you can add a new stage if you want, and you can activate deal rotting after 15 days. So if 15 days you don't get an answer back from your client and you've not changed it, it'll start showing that this deal is rotting. Save it and then move back. So this is how you set up your pipeline stages. Now come to the contacts. When you come to your contacts, this is one contact that I've created. What we need to do here is go to the settings, go to contacts attributes. This is where we can add custom fields. By default, you will get email, last name, first name, SMS. What I have done is I have added a few. If you are a travel company and you're wanting to re-engage, you will probably be doing it from last package booked by them in the last year that they traveled with you. If you're a hotel, it'll again be last time they stayed with you and the year they stayed with you. You want to customize it further and want to add the company name, you can do that. If you are a different business, you could have your different stages when they last inquired with you, etc. So you can base it on that. Now these are all text fields. Then I have added a couple of other fields, which is again package requested and the date of travel, which is the intended date of travel. Then scoring. This is a number, and then a tag, which is a text field. The first year traveled is a text field. The next date of travel is a date, and I'll explain it to you why. Because when you go to the CRM and when you start setting up a deal, you would need the date to understand, to make it more relevant for you. So hence a date here. However, this we just need for re-engagement personalization. So this is a text field. Scoring and tag, you can add as many attributes, as many custom fields as you want. Once you're done with that, save it and let's go back. Now we need to set up a website tracking code. To set up a website tracking code, you need to come to the automation. Now when you come to the automation, your automation will not have anything the way mine has it here. So what you would do is you would create a workflow. Just create any workflow, just set up a welcome message, create a workflow, leave it the way it is, and once you're done with it, save it, activate it, and move out. Then if you come to the settings, you will see this option tracking code showing up here. So it's very important for you to set up the tracking code. If you don't know how to do it, you can actually email it to your website developer. He'll know how to put it in. If your website is on WordPress platform, you can download the plugin and configure it. That will automatically install the code. If you're using a Google Tag Manager, you can go ahead and set up a Google Tag Manager accordingly. Now what this will do is this will track all the visitors who come to your websites, and this will help you set up your automations right. Now that we have set up the basics, we have done the housekeeping work, it is time to start creating the lists. The question is, why do we need multiple lists? Think of the journey you want your customers to take with you, and how would you like to move them around in your CRM and in the automation phases. So you will need multiple lists for doing that. I recommend setting up the lists is, one list can be the old data that you are bringing in. So you could have a list which says old data being imported. Second could be your old data openers. Third list could be old data non-responsive. A fourth list could be data active. Now this could be based on the lead scoring option, which I will show you in the automation at a later stage. You should have your multiple lists ready. Think of the journey that your customers are taking with you. If you're a travel company which is promoting multiple destinations, it is advisable to have lists for multiple destinations. So let's say you're promoting Maldives and you're promoting Sri Lanka. Have a list of Maldives as Maldives clients and as Maldives but non-responsive. So non-clients. You could similarly have Sri Lanka clients and Sri Lanka non-clients. The reason is, if you already got somebody who is a client for a particular destination that they've traveled with you, when you are next time sending out an emailer, you can actually just exclude them from receiving that email because they've already been to that destination. The probability that they'll travel again is extremely low. Think of it, what kind of lists do you need? Also, it is always a good idea to have a master list, which I personally choose to call master list active. Let's go ahead and create a few lists. To create a list, let's go to contacts, lists. I have one list here which is called the past customers. I've got one list here which is called the demo. Now this is in the CRM folder. In the marketing automation folder, I have a list called identified contacts. Then there is another thing called your first folder. They have your first list there. Keep your list in CRM folder and create a list. So my first list is old data imported. My second list is old data active. My third list is old data non-openers. Then I have a final one which is master list active. I've built these four lists, which is old data imported, old data active, old data non-openers, and master list active. Yours could be different. You should choose how you want to name them, what will make it easier for you to remember them. With this done, it is time to move to the most important part of this masterclass, which is building automations. Before we start building automations, think of it, what kind of automation does your business need? We are going to be starting with a multi-step re-engagement campaign. And since it's a multi-step, each step will have its own automation. And then there would be an option called lead scoring automation, because we only want to have the most engaged customers and we want to give priority to them. So when we start building automations, we need to think the customer journey through in our mind. It usually helps if we plot it down on a piece of paper. Once you've plotted it on a piece of paper, it makes it easier for you to actually replicate it. So what does building automations look like when it comes to Sendinblue? We'll move from the lists to automation. In my case, as you see, I've already built up 2 automations. One is partially built, one has been built up. So let us first start with the re-engagement automation. I'm going to walk you through the steps so that you understand. Do remember the name of the lists we created. So the first step you want to do is, actually let's delete them. So this is how you will be greeted with the automation. Come here, edit it. When do you want this workflow to start? I want it to start when the customer is added to the old data imported. That was the first field we brought in. What do I want to happen once I have added this? I want to send them an email. Now, this will bring us to the email section where we have to figure out what we want to do. Since you are starting afresh, you would not have an email, in which case you need to go to the section called create a new email template. Ideally, give this a name which will be easier for you to remember. So in this case, I have called the template I have made as re-engagement campaign. Give a subject line. A pro tip here, always personalize the subject line. Use the first name as an attribute. You should not be having a database without the first name and the last name of your customer. If you do, then that database is not going to be of much value to you. So customize the subject line by putting in the first name and whatever is the re-engagement message you want to put in. It could be something as simple as reconnecting. It's been a while since we heard from you. Think of a message that you want to put in, but put in the first name here. By putting in the first name, you're improving the chances of that email being opened by about 25%, because when you see an email that is addressed to you directly with your first name, you are more likely to press the open button. And what you want to do is you want to press the open button here. Then of course there's a preview text. The preview text is what shows up in the email client. So if you're using Microsoft Outlook on your desktop, you get a small snippet of message that you can read before you actually open the message. If you're doing it on a phone, that's the same thing. So that's your preview text. Then your from email, who's the sender. If you have qualified multiple people in the company, you can use the multiple people to send it. My request, do not use email addresses like newsletter@mycompanydomain.com or hello@mycompanydomain.com. When you use something like this, it automatically triggers a filter and the probability of this email ending up in spam is very, very high. Everything else you can leave at default. So from name default, you can leave it like that. Only activate the Google Analytics tracking, because this would help you measure the success of your campaign. And that's pretty much it. Once you are done with it, you should press the next step. When you press the next step, you will get the option to choose how your email is going to look. So choose the one that best describes the purpose of what you are sending out. I personally choose the template which says tell a story. Now come here and start customizing it. On the top is where your logo goes. If you don't have it uploaded onto Sendinblue, you can actually come here and upload it. It's pretty simple process. Replace, upload, done. Then what is the header that you want to be? What do you want to say? The most important thing as per me is how do you personalize this mass email that you are sending to them. So what I've done here is, for this demo, I have made an email which says dear first name. Now this comes from the attribute here, dear, and then you go to this add personalization and you can choose email, last name, first name, SMS, last package booked. I chose the first name. Where the pleasure of booking. Now, since this is for a travel company and we wanted to re-engage with the clients who had traveled with us, where the pleasure of booking, and this was a custom field I had made, last package booked, in the year traveled. Remember I said this is going to be a text field because we don't want it to be a numeric field. So This is the year traveled field. So we had the pleasure of booking your last package booked in the year traveled. Since the March of 2020, things have come to a grinding halt for the tourism industry. And now as the travel resumes, we wanted to reach out and check out about your future plans. Basic message, please make a slightly better message what you want to send out. You really want to reconnect with your customer. Then what you should do is, we want to bring this traffic back to our website. Choose something which works for you. It'll either be the style 2 or style 1. It's very simple to build an email with Send in Blue. Just pull it here, drag and drop, and then you can add a photograph here. You can add your title here. Now when you're adding the photograph and you click it once, you can actually link it. Now put the link which takes them back to your website, and I'll tell you why that is important. A, you're getting traffic onto your website. B, we want to create another touch point for people who have visited our website or visited this particular page. We want to actually start sending them relevant offers. So if you have a relevant offer to show, bring them back to your website. For the purpose of demo, I have created a Maldives package here. So you come here, you add a link which will take them back to your website, yourcompany.com for that. In this case, similarly for this year, highlighted, put a link back. If you're actually directing them back to your website and it's a package you are promoting, go to that package page and copy the link exactly the way you want it to appear. So once you have done it, this is now a clickable link. This is a clickable, and then of course we have another third link here which is called view the package. Why do I like putting in multiple links here? We don't know how the customer reacts to the email. I have at times had very good success rate when customers have clicked on the photograph, and this you could see in the heat map later of the email where the customers clicked. On the paid versions, you get to see this all. I've seen it where they clicked, and sometimes they just clicked on the photograph. So put all of it that you need. Put your second offer that you have, or multiple offers if you have. Remember, the more offers you put here, the more automations we will be building to go with them. And then of course, what if they don't like any of the offers you have? You can always bring the traffic back to our updated website and then thank them, move out. Important thing is, when you come here, please always change the text as to why they are receiving this email from you. In this case, we are sending a re-engagement mail. You receive this email because you are a past customer. It is always better to be GDPR compliant here and put in the right messaging here. Don't spam, don't send it to people who are not your customers, because this would not make any sense to them. Once you're done with it, it is time to also see how it is going to look on a mobile device. Now, as you see, when you come to a mobile device, I realize that this logo is a little bit too big. So maybe we'll need to change it. So if you have done the same thing and you see the logo is big, you need a second copy of a logo which you will need to put here. But other than that, everything looks fine. We know it'll work. So done, continue, and yeah, we're out of it here. Save and quit. So now coming back to the automation, added them to the list. We want to send them an email, and the email now is the re-engagement campaign that we just created. Press this. So the minute they are added to the list, this email would get triggered off automatically. What do you want to happen once this email has been sent? Ideally, we should add a delay. Not everybody is going to open an email this instant. So add a delay. Good delay is add a 2-day delay. You could make it 1, you could make it hours, you could make it a week, whatever works for your market, whatever works for your industry. Add a delay. Now after this, you have to decide what you want to do with this, based on what actions the clients have taken or what actions people have taken. So to understand that, we come to what is called the if-else condition. We add an if-else condition, and what we are sending is a transactional email. This is not an email marketing activity. This is a transactional email activity. So come to the transactional email activity. Now, what is the important criteria for you? Are you happy that they just opened the email, or do you want them to be somebody who has clicked on an email? I personally like to see how active they are and if they're still interested in travel. So I would recommend press the click thing. And in this particular case, since it's a re-engagement message, we want to be very, very clear that we want to know if they have clicked any link on the re-engagement message. Now you've added this, if this then that, if else. What if they have clicked this link? What if they are an opener? What do you want to do? I want to update a contact attribute. The contact attribute is tag, and I want to call it active. Then I also want to start adding this contact into a list. Since they're clicking, they're active, I would actually shift them to the master list active. And we could have a separate list of things that are going in here which are relevant to them. If they have not clicked a link, what do you want to do? Maybe you want to send them another email. So you could go here, create another email and just send it to them. What is going to happen is you imported a contact, they've been sent an email re-engagement. We have waited for 2 days to see if they've opened or clicked a link or not. If they've opened or clicked a link, we've actually added 2 things. We've given them a tag active and we have also added them to the master list active. These people are active and more likely to open up our other emails. But if they've not opened an email, we have sent them another email which we have created for this. So now this is going to be for the people who have not clicked or who are non-openers. You could send them an email, or you could add a further delay here by saying that, okay, add a delay. So if they've not opened it, we wait for 7 days more and then we send them another email. Now there are still 2 folks going down here. In this case, they've already come to the master list active. Now we come here, we add another if this then that condition, if else condition, which is based again on the transactional activity. We want to see if they have clicked the re-engagement mail, or if you're not sure, you can say all templates and tags. So technically we only have 2 templates at this moment of time that we have created. So we want to see that if they've clicked any of these. If they have, we want to update a contact attribute and put in tag active. If they have, and then of course move them to a list which is master list active. If they have, however, not opened an email, then once again I'm going to add a delay of 7 days. And if in 7 days they've still not taken any action, I'm going to update the contact attribute and call it inactive. And at the same time, add the contact to a list, which is old data. We call it non-openers, it could be non-clickers. So this is what we've set up. Now, we also want to come to the lead scoring. What is lead scoring? We want to assign value to the people who are opening our emails. We want to start this workflow when one of our contacts clicks. In this case, we're starting with re-engagement, so we'll name it re-engagement. And if after that they come to our website and they're coming to the website from our email, only then would this be able to track them. We want to update the contact attribute by adding a score of 5. How do we do that? So we come here, we will go and we will say update contact attribute. The contact we want to attribute is scoring, and we want to add. Now you could add any number that you want. I prefer to work in increments of 5, so I'm going to write add an attribute of 5 here. So we've added 5 to them, and every time this email is sent and somebody opens it up, clicks a link, visits a website, I'm adding 10 points to them. He just, sometimes people just click it and then before they get to the website, they are not interested, they move off. I want to give them points for clicking it and visiting a website. You can also have a lead scoring option set up just for you, and you can call it create a custom workflow, lead scoring, website visits. Allow the contacts to enter the workflow more than once. We need to allow them more than once because only then will the score be added. So what we want to do is we want to add an entry point, which is a website activity. Contact visits a page. Now, what is that page? The page should equal to. So if you want to see who's your more active contacts for a particular destination and you want to actually take it to the next level, let's say you're promoting a Maldives holiday, then you can only put in the Maldives client scoring here. How likely are they to convert? How often have they come to your website to check the packages? You see, once the email is opened by them, the cookie is stored in their browser. And after that, when they visit the website, Sendinblue is able to track them. So let's say if this is the package that you have and this is where they're coming in. So you say every time they visit this page, I want to update a contact attribute, which is scoring. I want you to add a value of 5 to them. So every time somebody who's coming from your newsletter visits this page, or as long as the cookie is stored, they visit this page, their contact will start getting a 5-point added value coming to them. Activate the workflow. Always activate all your workflows. That is the only way you will be able to see what's happening. So the lead scoring for website visits is working. Lead scoring for email openers is working. Now, how this works is when you go to your contacts and you open up any contact for that matter, if this contact has visited your website, first and foremost, like a full-scale CRM, you can add multiple details here. You can create a complete timeline history. So you'll start seeing all that is happening on this very section. Now, this way you know where the client is. And if you display all the attributes, and one of the attributes is the score, now you could set up an automation for this as well, that the minute a client score reaches, let's say 50, I want them to be added to a new list. So you could go back to your automation. You could create a workflow, a custom workflow, and this could be master list active, or this could be high score clients. Allow the contacts to enter the workflow more than once. What you would do for this is you would add an entry point, and the entry point is contact details, contact attributes condition. Score is greater than, let's say you want it to be greater than 50, and this will do this every day. What time do you want it to do it? Every day. You want it to be run every day at, let's say, 10 a.m. in the morning. Contact scoring greater than 50. Then add the contact to a master list active or high score clients, or whatever you want that contact list to be called. Or you can create a new contact list from here itself and add it to that high score contact list, which would be high score clients here. So if I go here and I refresh the list, I've got the high score clients which have come in. Now, anytime a client score is greater than 50, they'll start getting added onto this. Now, this is where you need to then, you can start achieving more with them. Now, similarly, you can create multiple touch points. Let's say you sent an email which had links to 5 packages. So what you need to do is, you need to, in this case, create 5 workflows like we created the lead scoring for website visits. What we could also do is, we could also build up based on the activity of this client. We can also send them an email. So still, let's go and edit the lead scoring for website visits. In this case, we had set it up specifically for Maldives. So since we had set this one up for Maldives, let's go and edit this here. So we said this is what has happened. The guy has come and visited this page. We've given him 5 points. We also want to send him an email. Now, if you have a packaged email for Maldives ready, you can go ahead, pick it up here, add it. If you don't have it, you know how to create a new email template, create it, and just send it to them. Now, you've understood how to automate. You could then add more steps to it. You can add a delay. Once again, I prefer to work with 2 days. Add a delay of 2 days, and then do an if this then that, or if and when. Put an if else condition. Transactional email was clicked. So we send them, this was a Maldives email, for example. We send them this. Did they click any link on it? If they clicked, yes. What we want to do is we want to send a notification. You have the notification coming in, and you know that this customer is a little active, and you can set up your default notification template, whatever you want it to tell you. So what this would do is, if a client has visited your Maldives package, he's been given the points, he's opened up the Maldives email that you sent him after his package visit, and you've given it 2 days to work, and if they've clicked on any link, you will get a notification telling you that this client is active. And you can then go ahead and schedule a call with this client, send in a personalized email, or get in touch with them, whatever works for you. And this would help you close a whole lot more. And the best part is, all this would keep on working for you on autopilot. So now that we've built the automations, you've understood, now comes the most critical part, which is importing your data. See, you need to bring all your data to a single place, which in this case would be the CRM. And you want to configure your data to go with your custom fields. How I suggest you do this is, based on how you've created the custom fields, go ahead and put all your data in an Excel sheet and start importing it in one by one, if that's how you prefer. If you want to do a bulk import, come to contacts, and it says here import contacts. Now, do remember that you can upload a file, you can copy and paste here. Just understand one thing. What are the custom fields that you've created here, especially for the re-engagement part? You have last name, first name, SMS, last package booked, year traveled, and company name. These you may not need right now. Scoring you may not need right now. Tag you don't need right now. So if you're doing it in an Excel sheet or a CSV file, make sure that the top headers are mapped the same way. If the last name is all caps with no space, it should be last name, first name, SMS, last package booked, year traveled in. That is how you bring in all your contacts. You can also do it manually, one by one. Now, do understand some things. On a free plan, we have some restrictions. The primary amongst this restriction is we can only send 300 emails a day. Similarly, when it comes to automation, the free plan only allows us to send automation to 2000 contacts. And again, 300 emails until the next day. And the quota is 100 emails per hour. Even if you are importing it very slowly, let's say you have a database of a few thousand people and you are importing it really slowly, the first 2000 by which time you will exhaust your free plan limit, would actually tell you how these customers are behaving when they're receiving emails from you. If your data is good, you will automatically start seeing traction coming in, and then you can always upgrade. If your data is not good and you're not getting the traction, then I'm afraid you will have to relook at your data. All this can be achieved by using Sendinblue. Now, if you do need to upgrade, it is not expensive to upgrade. They have plans which start at 1,510 rupees per month in India, and it's not very expensive. However, I would actually go with the slightly more expensive plan, because then I get the Facebook ads and I unleash more things in marketing automation, and I have 3 users access. And depending upon how many emails I'm sending out a month, I can actually configure. So Sendinblue does not charge me for how many subscribers I bring in, but it charges me for how many emails I send in a month. So giving an example, if you have a database of 5,000 and you're sending them 1 email a week, you will need 20,000 emails. And that means the basic premium plan of 3895 works for you perfectly well. If you are sending them more than 1 email a week, then of course you need a slightly bigger plan, and you will need to upgrade it to the 4690 plan. So this is all customizable. You can do it on your own free will. So this pretty much sums up what I would suggest you do with your data, how you bring your data in, and how you can start working with your data, and actually it starts generating business for you on autopilot. Once you set up these automations and you let it run, different people will start getting into your automations at different times. Not everybody opens the email at the same time. So whenever they open that email, they'll start getting into the automation. And by any means, we're not deleting any of your customer. Remember, all we have done is we have taken these contacts and we've put them in a list which is old data non-openers or old data non-clickers. So what we can do on a later date is we can actually come back here and open up this data of the people who have not engaged with the content or who are non-openers or non-clickers, and you can export this data to target them on social media. Or if you have upgraded your plan and you already have Facebook activated on it, you can actually create a custom audience from these people and start showing them ads. So there are always ways to re-engage these contacts. It just depends on how we want to use it. So I hope this video helps you. If this video did solve a problem for you and gave you value, please do consider and subscribe to the channel. Do give a thumbs up to this video. That tells YouTube the video is relevant and more people can see it. My name is Vishal Mehra. I thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.